You again? Xemnas? This isn't possible!
My. A hollow puppet that's managed to grow a heart. Just imagine that.
Pinocchio isn't anything like you nobodies. But if Pinocchio could be given one, shouldn't you be able to have a heart inside you too?
Maybe so. However, do not forget that you yourself are not so very different from us.
How am I anything like a nobody? That doesn't make any sense.
Well now, seems like things are getting really interesting. And by the way, you do also get Chronicles so you can catch up on your reading of past Kingdom Hearts games. But speaking of Kingdom Hearts games, welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. I'm Solidus-Skully, here with more Kingdom Heartsian stuff, and how many times can I mention Kingdom Hearts in a Kingdom Hearts sentence? Kingdom Hearts, radioactive Kingdom Hearts. I don't know why I turned it into a slight Spider-Man song. Trapeze out of Sora. Oh no. Here, let's have some pure magic. But in any case, Xemnas, he is back. And given that whole cutscene with him and the mysterious figure just down there, yeah, it's kind of like Xemnas took his son to work day. It's like, yes, boy, make fun of Sora, insult his intelligence. Good. I wish I could do a good Xemnas voice, but sadly that is only for the dulcet tones of Paul St. Peter. Oh, what a legend. But in any case though, it's kind of interesting that Xemnas actually makes an appearance here, because back when Pinocchio's world was intended for 358 over 2 days, yeah, the whole precipice of puppets having hearts, and his incredulous chuckle about nobodies having hearts. I sensed some shenanigans that made a lot of people very angry when this game first came out. That's neither here nor there in this case. What I did want to talk about was what this world's original purpose was in 358 over 2 days, where, yeah, pretty much would have been another excursion for Roxas and Xion to go off, you know, beat up some Heartless, gather some hearts, and in turn, you know, discover how exactly Pinocchio, being a puppet himself, also had a heart. You know, very typical sort of fare for this world, but yeah, it would have been fun to think about. In the meantime, however, well, let's just kind of go off from one topic to another. In this case, talking about the drop mechanic, I didn't really go too much in depth with it beforehand for what it really was meant to represent, but yeah, in this case, what the drop meter is meant to be there to reflect, I mean, apart from what you've already seen at Traverse Town, in the sense that, well, I mean, apart from squishing Sora up against the sides, yeah, the drop meter is basically meant to be Sora's random bouts of narcolepsy, where again, if you fall asleep in the dream world, you switch to Riku, again if you... But there is a way to mitigate this, in this case with the whole drop me not concept. Again, if you use drop me nots, you can basically use that to restore the drop gauge, and in turn prevent Sora from catching some Z's much earlier than anticipated. Which, again, just kind of makes the mechanic seem a little bit pointless, because as you've been noticing at the end of the level, you have this whole thing called Dream Points. Basically the little teardrops that you see, well... Okay, maybe as soon as we beat up these Jessabokis you'll see what I mean, or the penguins or whatever. Okay, now we won't be able to see it until we explode this fucking Katamari Damacy bubble, but anyway, the little dark blue esoteric crystalline teardrop shapes, yeah, those are Dream Points, so basically we collect all of those up, and we can exchange them at the end of the levels for, you know, certain buffs and bonuses, depending on the character switch, so you can get stuff like attack gain, magic gain, you know, higher defense, you know, decrease speed in the drop gauge, you know, gradually dwindling down, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, you still technically could have had that mechanic, it's just that, you know, did you really need the whole fucking drop mechanic to exist in the sense that, you know, you're just fucking around like that. By the way, another thing to talk about, yeah, Sora and Riku also have different link-up attacks with, you know, certain Dream Eaters. So, like, I mean, Riku's attacks with Komori Bat will be different with, you know, Sora's and vice versa. Again, you saw Riku's Darkest Fears. I can't quite remember what that was, for Sora's variant of his link-up attack with Terry McGinnis over there, but whatever. Bouncing up and down, making craters in the ground. It's anal cunt. Woohoo. But anyway, to get back to the salient point I wanted to make beforehand in a very rushed and inconsiderate fashion, yeah, drop meter. A lot of the mechanics designed to mitigate it also kind of highlight how pointless it is and how, again, if you wanted the whole character switching mechanic, you could have just had the characters, you know, still go to sleep at the end of the level. It's, you know, so fulfilling the whole Dream Drop Distance Dreams Whoopee quota, so... yeah, whatever. It just comes across as a very sort of pointless mechanic in my eyes, but whatever. Trying to fulfill the quota and, well, I mean, I will say this, it does make the end of some of these parts interesting as, you know, we're watching this in the middle of the night, like, you're not supposed to be in this theme park, but it's exciting and fun, and, it allows you to tuck into bed and, you know, go to sleep as soon as it's over.
Well, I hope they got home safe.
You must be Sora.
Oh, yes, ma'am. And you must be the Blue Fairy.
That's right. And I'm afraid that I have grave news. Good Geppetto went off to look for Pinocchio, and he was swallowed by a whale named Monstro.
What? Have you told Pinocchio and Jiminy about it yet?
Yes. And when I told them Geppetto was still alive inside the whale and at the bottom of the sea, those two little ones ran off at once. They're very determined to save him.
But that's crazy. I've got to find them.
This Monstro? I've heard of him, Pinocchio. He's a whale of a whale. Why, he swallows whole ships alive. And besides, it's dangerous. Why,
Goodbye, Jiminy.
Goodbye. I may be live bait down there, but I'm with you. Ah.
And then Pinocchio died. So yeah, that's pretty much our mission of the now. Tracking down Monstro. Oh, he's scary. And, yeah, he wasn't always a space whale, he was a regular whale that enjoyed eating ships. Well, no change there then. So I suppose as we have another long commute of gameplay before Sora eventually reaches Monster Man and Pinnock and Jiminy Jillikers, yeah, I guess I might as well go into something that I was intending to talk about last part, but didn't quite have the time to bring up. But yeah, the whole concept of the dream world versus the real world. Yensid did kind of explain it a little bit, but again, as I mentioned beforehand, very esoteric, so let me try and break it down for you, soul brother, you know, let me just see if I can, you know, rap with you, homies. But yeah, dream world versus the real world. Again, as Yensid mentioned, you know, the worlds are basically trapped in a state where, you know, there are characters and familiar faces in these worlds, but, you know, they haven't awoken from the dream. What exactly does that mean? Well, it's pretty much the case of where, again, you know Kingdom Hearts 1, you know, worlds fall to darkness, they weren't exactly restored, you know, between now and then, despite, you know, Sora using his Keyblade, locking the worlds in a heartless way. And in turn, they've been basically put into a wakeless sleep. In this case, what that means is that basically at the moment the worlds were consumed by darkness, yeah, all the events are going on is basically the recurring nightmare. So the events that are going on in the dream world is the last things that happened before the world was consumed. So, again, this is why Jiminy doesn't recognize Sora, and why he's meeting him at an earlier point. Right before you see him in Kingdom Hearts 1 when he teams up with Donald and Goofy before they head off on their journey to visit Traverse Town, really. Again, what we're going to be seeing here is basically the origin story of... Well, I mean, as the Blue Fairy Maria Robotnik said, as, you know, how Geppetto was consumed by the whale, how Sora comes to meet all these characters, and in turn just sort of basically being set up for Kingdom Hearts 1. Now, of course, the game doesn't quite set this up as, you know, as clandestine as you would have liked, mainly because we don't have enough reoccurring worlds from Kingdom Hearts 1, or at least not focusing on the specific points where, you know, past and present align. And, I mean, I guess if I can say anything else, it does also go to show that a lot more worlds were consumed by the darkness in KH1. That does kind of show the scale of what the original game's damage was like, so, again, for as many looming threats as we do have with, you know, Organization, Xehanort, and, you know, all that kind of thing, it does at least sort of go to show that, you know, stopping Ansem was still very important in the, you know, Kingdom Hearts 1, so... Yeah, good on Sora for his first adventure at the very least. But anyway, the salient point that I was wanting to bring up is in the sense that... Yeah, we have a lot more new worlds versus the old, so, yeah. Some new ones returning, some not, but all of them still have yet to awaken from their sleep. But in any case, as you can probably tell by our mysterious figures that align with Riku, all the way back in Traverse Town about asking how the hell he got here, even though this is supposed to be part of the test, seems we might be diverting course to some extent. Ah, we're walking beneath the sea. And, by the way, we do actually have free movement, so, yeah, another point in favor of the dream world. We're underwater, but we're walking around like normal. I mean, I suppose logistically it's because the developers couldn't be bothered, like, programming and swimming controls. But yeah, kind of odd that they had this whole little underwater segment. I mean, all you're really doing is just exploring through this expanse to find treasure chests and, you know, fight a few nightmare dream eaters, but, yeah. So it sort of seems like they were... Well, that's the thing, really. I do wonder if they were, in fact, planning on having another Little Mermaid world. I mean, given that we do have Ursula sort of showing up, and they did get Pat Carroll back to reprise her role. So yeah, I wonder if we perhaps would have been in for another appearance from either King Salami Nipples or perhaps Princess Boobs! But then again, I suppose there probably wasn't much prequelized things they could have technically done with Princess Boobs! I guess maybe they could have followed up on the whole King Salami Nipples knowing about the Keyblade. You know, again, unless of course something like Missing Link, which I believe is due out later this year, is going to expand on that, but really I don't really know. Union Cross might have done something with that, but even then I'm still not too sure and I haven't quite done my homework on that, so... Citation needed, and oh my god, penguins underwater, evil. Doodly doodly, whimsy, whimsy, exploring the sea, which is there for you and me, cause darling, it's down where it's better, down where it's wetter, take it from me. Under the sea. Well, at least I can thank my lucky stars that we don't have to put up with any of that crap anymore. Well, again, I suppose maybe if it shows up in a future Kingdom Hearts game, but what would they really adapt? Well, I mean, I suppose I'll say this, I hope to God Kingdom Hearts 4, in terms of its world selection. I mean, I know a lot of people are sort of apprehensive about the potential, like, Star Wars or whatever showing up in there, but... Oh god, I hope to God that we don't see any live-action Disney remakes in there, because that would not be very good. Especially if we have to put up with a potential musical Little Mermaid world with, I was brought up in a swamp, whack, chicka whack, whack. Oh god, it makes me gag. And not just because we're down in the ocean. Ugh, crikey. But anyway, we seem to be in a little bit of peacetime at the moment, and you know, as we purchase a few more paints that we can use to paint our Dream Eaters, yeah, you can also buy a few figments here. It's usually just better off grinding for the materials with specific Dream Eaters that you encounter throughout the levels as opposed to buying them from Moogle shops or... you know, buying them via the Flick Rush Arena and the shop that's right beside there, so... Yeah. It's, you're better off grinding for it, but that is also time-consuming, and depending on how much you like the Dream Eaters, well... Yeah, it could be a very different kettle of fish depending on how passionate you are about it. And speaking of which, yeah, let's show off some Dream Eaters that we can create. Can't quite make a lot of things at the moment, we do have a few recipes, but we can create the Jester-Bocky, who I'm also going to give a silly name. Not quite as silly as I would have liked. I was kind of torn between what I should actually call it, but eventually I settled on the one thing that, sounds fitting enough. But in any case, this is what, the synthesis materials are. I mean, you can pretty much, you do have to sacrifice one of your commands in order to, you know, give it certain stat buffs and abilities, like, for example, improving its stamina, improving its health. Stuff like that I believe I've already brought up, previously, but here, you get to see it in action, and, oh, look at our little jester right there. Isn't he adorable? There's little dongly balls on his hat. What do I decide to call him? Arkham DMC3. And that, my dear children, is a spoiler and a clue. Although, I guess if I could, if I can pretty much just sort of take up a bit of time as we name this little lovable creature, yeah, believe it or not, Jester in DMC3 was initially had the term Joker. Why exactly they changed the name, I have no idea, I guess. They did have one of the Atlas character designers, so I guess maybe they didn't want to, like, tread in Atlas's toes. Or maybe they were worried about getting a lawsuit from, like, DC Comics or some shit. Whatever. In any case, yeah, will we be swapping out our characters? Who knows? Probably not. But in any case, we'll just sort of play around and get ready for the trial ahead. I do actually quite like using Arkham as a Dream Eater throughout this game. But one of the unique abilities is actually, well, kind of something similar you saw during the cutscenes where they were impersonating Pinocchio, where they can actually just morph into different nightmare forms and, have sort of mimicry ability, which can be quite nice. Doodly doodly, jumping up in whimsy. Yes, descend into the whirlpool and hopefully not have your bones break. But this is a dream where fantasy can happen. Woohoo! Yeah. Oh no. My voice is too low and sexy to do high-pitched Sora anymore. By which I mean for Haley Joel Osment, because I don't know, I mean, I've said this before, but I'm sure you've probably seen it throughout the cutscenes yourself, where it does sound like he is... I think it might be because of the fact that, he's trying to embody Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora more than, KH2 and 3, where he does have a more natural register, but... Yeah, it's, It does kind of sound like he's trying to go for the overly whimsy sort of, like, vocal style for Sora, which might be partially due to his character presentation in this game more than any other, but... Yeah, I don't know, sometimes it does sort of sound like it's hurting Haley Joel Osment's throat, and dear God, somebody give the guy a lozenge. He certainly needs it. And Haley Joel Osment certainly knows about swabbing urethras. And nobody gets what I'm referencing. It's him using his Sora voice in television programs and other acting roles, like in that Ted Bundy documentary, where again, if you just deposit that with the Riku in the darkness, it's just pure Kingdom Hearts. Whee! Delicious Dream Eaters. Whimsy. Let's finish the segment, because this is getting boring. I mean, I do actually happen to quite like underwater areas, but I really need some ambient music to really sort of offset, like, some stuff, really. I don't know, maybe that's just the inner Australian in me, maybe pretty sure I've said that plenty of times in the past, actually, but... I don't know, like, I mean, in terms of, like, a video game setting and... Oh, I mean, as well as real life, actually. Yeah, underwater settings are just quite cool. Oh, and, look, something similar to past Kingdom... Okay, what would be similar to Kingdom Hearts 1 with, like, the whole dolphin that leads you places, we also have a stingray that also takes us places. Because it can show us the world under the sea. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't really know why I'm so obsessive about hunting for treasure throughout all of these places, but... I don't know. I guess maybe I just don't want to miss out on certain abilities, or find different recipes. I guess maybe that might be it. I was just busy looking for Dream Eater recipes, because, yeah, in the time it's taken for me to get ready for this commentary, it's, been quite a while since I recorded. But anyway, cutscene go now.
Huh? Jiminy! Oh no! I'll have to claw my way past, then rescue my friends.
So, meet our current boss fight of the now, Cho Zoidberg. Hang on, we'll get us through boss night. No, Cho Klobster. Yeah. I don't foresee any sort of dichotomy going on right here. Right here we have ice, and mayhaps we may have fire. But yeah, I would actually recommend being very cautious with Cho Zoidberg because, well, yeah, this boss actually hits quite hard, and I do actually recommend you grind a little bit before doing this, although, in a similar vein to Birth by Sleep, actually, you do actually have a well, Birth by Sleep, I should say, Kingdom Hearts 1 and the series in general at this stage. Yeah, this is also Meow-Owl's ultimate ability. Anal Cunt grows in size, and he pretty much just bounces up and down making craters in the ground with increased weight after eating Terry McGinnis. Though it doesn't really seem to be doing shit at the moment because we're not at the right level of elevation to do much damage. But anyway, I recommend grinding a little bit before you take on this level, well, take on the level and the boss really, because yeah, this boss can be a bit of a pain in the ass to defeat, so make sure you have at least Cure Command on standby and, you know, play with skill and play sparingly, because otherwise, well, yeah, this thing is basically going to hand you an ass buffet, and, let's just say Lobster Bisque ain't exactly on the menu. But yeah, it also introduces us to an off mechanic, actually, where your Dream Eater can actually get knocked out and you have, like, about 30 seconds to revive them, so, yeah, that's interesting. But all that aside, though, yeah, like Kingdom Hearts 1 and the series up to this point, yeah, these worlds also do have certain difficulty gates, in the sense that, you know, they'll basically have, like, a certain battle rating, so you're meant to tackle these levels, you know, in gradually ascending order, or you can tackle them almost immediately and, try your luck, really. And I guess basically because of how I've always sort of played Dream Drop Distance, I always pick the Pinocchio world first because I found it to be, well, one of the more annoying ones, despite some of the aesthetical value being, you know, quite fun-filled and jovial. But yeah, needless to say, I enjoy La Cité de la Cloches and the Grid much more entertaining than this one, so basically getting, you know, some of the shite ones out of the way first. In the meantime, though, anyway, Chilled Zoidberg's attacks, he pretty much fires lasers from his claws. He'll do his little swipe attack, and he does hit hard, and he'll, you know, try and have a certain level of elevation, which, you know, forces you to sort of keep on the move and makes great use out of your flow motion to reach them, so yeah, it does make good use of the mechanics, it's just that he hits really fucking hard, so yeah, apart from having to revive your Dream Eaters, you know, not really too much to well, okay, there is a lot to worry about because he hits hard and Sora can easily die just as badly as his Dream Eaters themselves as he revives them, and oh dear god, Terry McGinnis was just barely hanging in there. There we go. Now we get to make better use out of Sora's Fly-By-Night. That's the name of his special team of attack with, you know, Terry McGinnis over there, so go, my Fly-By-Night, and save the day with your chivalrous code of honor and, chastity. Although it won't be very chaste for long as soon as Sora sees Riku again. Riku, I got a funny feeling in my pants. Is that a Keyblade or are you happy to see me? God. And just so you know that I'm not homophobic, I do support Sora and Riku as an official couple. Yes. Yes, the gayness is here. And genuine. Truly, we have finally reached equality in the year of our Lord of 2024. Finally, insert current year, things are different now. Allegedly. I'd argue they're probably more the same that they've ever been. Just more cynical and world-weary and, camera clipping. Blurg. So anyway, it's time for a reality shift. By the time it actually gets down to this level, yeah, we actually get to use a reality shift command on Monstro, where we finally take control of the space whale. Well, I guess maybe the implication is that Sora turns him into a space whale? I don't know. I mean, he seems to be able to cross vast oceans of the universe as well as the ocean, I suppose, but whatever. By the way, make sure you catch up to Chilled Zoidberg quite quickly because, yeah, Monstro can actually well, have his proverbial bubble burst, and, yeah, you're pretty much going to be doing that whole boss fight over again. As Sora just folds his arms and goes, "Nah, mate, it's game over. Nah, mate." And, yeah, you are still going to be attacked, as all of this sort of happens as well, so, yeah, just make sure that Monstro reaches Shield Zoidberg, perform the finishing blow, and, bada bing, you do the thing. And thus we fulfill the Continuity, and awaken this world from its deep, depressive slumber. Which, I mean, again, as I mentioned beforehand, also has the added benefit of, you know, restoring characters towards their world, so to speak, so, yeah. Let's awaken them from this dying dream. Is it truly Sora who is going to die?
I get it now. After this, Pinocchio and Jiminy's world gets dragged into darkness. And they end up cast into the sea between worlds, along with Monstro. And then, they end up in Traverse Town and the belly of the whale. That's when we meet for real. It's like Master Yen Sid said. I'm in the dream, Pinocchio's world is dreaming. And that world will never be right again until it wakes from sleep.
Wowzers, Ferris gear! I'm sure going to use that Keyblade never. But yeah, in the meantime, however, I am pretty much sticking with the Kingdom Key and wait to do one for Riku, so yeah, sorry if you wanted to see the other Keyblades, but play the game for yourself. In spite of everything I have to say, Dream Drop Distance is quite a fun game. Anyway, let's see the forecast. Oh, it's a lovely day. And yeah, on to our next world. So yeah, since we're about to approach the end of sleepy time, I think it's about time. Yeah, I think we had a nap. Nice amount of dream points. Yeah, lovely little thing. I think it's about, you know, we all went to bed, so, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I'll see you next time for more Dream Drop Distance, but I think it's about time for bed, everybody, so, good night.